Again, I am getting ready to melt all this lead to rebuild positive plates for these deep cycle batteries, the rolls. Anyhow, let me show you what I got going on here. Ready to start this fabulous barbecue. I've got all these old car battery negative plates, and there was a bunch of positive plates. You see the red there? This is the red lead for the positive plate. I'm trying to salvage it and then smelt all the remaining lead down into a big clump that I can use for pouring plates. This is a little 12-volt deep cycle that I was using when I first started solar for portable arrays to take camping and stuff like that. Anyhow, these were AGMs, and look how decomposed they were. This is how they came right out of the battery. They're in a little sleeve, little plastic sleeve, and the positive plates are completely corroded. This is the residue of the positive plates from the rolls deep cycles. Now look at this. This is supposed to be red lead. That's how old these were. It's so decrepit. I'm going to have to flame it. You know, maybe, God, I might be able to use a bleach mixture, but it's going to take a lot I could probably burn off all the carbon or whatever that buildup that is and get it back to red powder. But really all you need is the lead. What this does is, as soon as you get the alchemical reaction, you automatically just right away get the full dose. You don't have any resistance, ohm resistance. If you use a lot of this red lead. If you don't have that, you just have solid plates, you have to discharge it and charge it, and discharge it and charge it, and discharge it and charge it many, many times, like 50 cycles before you'll build up your natural red lead from use. So in other words, your battery starts really weak, and then over time it gets stronger and stronger and stronger till it hits a peak, and then it starts its long decline. When you get a battery brand new, it's already loaded with red lead on the plates. It's manufactured that way, so right from day one, first charge is maximum. But I haven't decided which way to go. Let's see if I can salvage this stuff. Took my maul there, and in this little wok I crushed down all the old dried red lead positive plates I had. I stuck them on this old window screen that I'm not using anymore, and I'm trying to separate the lead from the powdered red lead using this screen. And what we end up with is red lead for my positive plates. Look at that. It's a beautiful thing. It was a beautiful day. Now it's thunder. It was raining and sunshine a little bit ago. Anyway, separating the red lead from the positive plate, the best way I've found is just to throw it down really hard in my little cheap secondhand store metal wok. Get all the, it helps if it's really dry. I haven't really given it enough time to dry. And then I take the lead and put it in the lead pouring bucket. This is what's going to be smelted down to make new plates. Down, you see the grid of the positive plate. Look how much thicker it is. The positive plate is way thicker than the negative plates. Anyhow, I've got most of the red lead out of there. It goes in my smelting bucket. So here's the grid that was containing all the red lead. Then I take my sledgehammer and just squish the rest out. We're having a little barbecue today. I'm starting to melt some lead and separating out all the lead powder. It floats on the liquid lead, and as I'm cleaning or stripping the red lead from the positive powder, the positive plate, I'm throwing the plates in here and melting them down. To clarify, yeah, it's just a regular old gas barbecue with one burner on it, plenty sufficient to melt lead. I got the majority of 2 batteries positive plates in here. My glove just ripped. I got tired of waiting for it to melt. And so I took the torch to the stuff that I just put in, and look at how it turns back into red lead. There's only residue of red lead on the grill, but this is what it looks, red lead looks like when it's clean and ready to be fired up for the first time. And there's a lot more molten lead in here than it looks. Show you the lighter materials float to the surface, but see, this is just a molten lake. And the red lead is floating to the surface. Pretty interesting, eh? It's getting late. I gotta get ready to cook myself. I've been actually sick the past couple of days, but I got a lot of liquid lead here. I got it mostly cleaned up. This will be a good. The hardest time I had was getting it started. Once I had a lake of molten lead, it became much easier. Things would melt in. Also, instead of using this one round burner, the wind blows up under there and blows the flame to where it's not hitting the pan. I'm going to use the big long burners in here next time. But I have a new start. A good start on a lead base here. And I want to get a lot more raw lead before I start pouring plates. Anyhow, all in all, a complete success. And I think I have a whole bunch more red lead dust for the positive plates in this. This is the cleanup that came off the top. Red lead I got the day before yesterday. There's a lot in here. If you tried to buy this stuff, it is very, very expensive. It's insanely expensive. As a matter of fact, you're better off just buying new batteries. Because that's how much it costs. But when you can salvage it and make your own red lead, pour some positive plates with some nice clean lead, a rebuilding battery. The negative plates are fine. Just beef them up a little bit maybe. And if you can get it back together, it's stuffed in the battery and the terminals reapplied without any shorts, good to go. Beautiful day in paradise. I've been sick the last couple days. Actually, it's been about a week, but off and on. I don't get really sick. So if I feel bad at all, it's really serious, Anyway, I had COVID, I believe. I'm not bothering to get tested. They're wrong 50% of the time anyway. But I was feeling a little bit better today. And look what I did. Out of this lead, oh my God. Look how clean it is. I threw it out of here and scraped the top off. And you can see how clean it is. It's about 3/8 of an inch thick throughout the body. And it's quite heavy. And this is still got molten lead in it. I didn't have a good cleaning, a system of scraping it off the surface. So there's a lot of lead in here. And I found my crate of positive plates. I thought I went through them all. No. They were in my old cat box thing because it started raining on me. So I threw everything under cover. These are the dry ones. These are the wet ones that I was working with today. That little tiny pile is what I did today. That's what I have yet to do from only 2 batteries. These are all the positive plates. Red, it's the red lead filler in there. So a lot of work to still do. The crime today, I was taking these wet plates from the last battery I pulled them out of, and they're soaking wet still. And I was just splattering them against this board here and scraping up the goodies. And all of it should be dry before you start working with it. If you put wet lead into your molten lead, oh man, you're asking for a burn because it explodes. This is negative plate powdered lead in here. It came off of these from a car battery. Some of them aren't out yet. These off of a car battery. It's powdered lead, not red lead. I don't know if you can see, they're so thin. They're paper thin, little tiny webbing of lead. Car batteries, you can't drain them down because look how thin that lead is. They're not deep cycle. But nonetheless, the powder is really good to re-coat my negative plates before I put a carbon coating on them.
चलो बाबियो
मायने सेक तेरो धोपते है मैंने तू आपने ना ना आराम क्या लिखा है तो वही ना बोले
चलिए आप वाइट खा भी ले पूरे इसके
यहाँ जाने शाम को फोन करते आप वाले मेहमान देखो मेरा ऊपर पंप चंगे हालांकि मैं आगा मेरा पंप पूरे जहाँ तो बेकार पंप दूसरी वाली को क्या हुआ? क्यों? कहाँ गया?
Friends, today we would be synthesizing nitric acid. You can observe very clearly that on adding the nitric acid, the color has turned black. This is because nitric acid has oxidized all the oxides of lead into lead 4 oxide. Give a thorough stirring so that all the oxides will react with the acid. Now we boil the contents of this beaker for about 10 minutes so that all the nitric acid will react. The primary aim of adding the nitric acid was to dissolve the unreacted lead hydroxide, other oxides of lead, calcium hydroxide and calcium carbonate present in the bleaching powder. After boiling the contents and rinsing them thoroughly, we filter the precipitate. Observe the dark brown color of lead dioxide. After drying the precipitate, we will be pulverizing it and then we will be storing it. A word of caution, lead salts are carcinogenic, hence avoid direct contact. Thank you so much for watching my video. If you loved my video, don't forget
I used in this video because I thought it was interesting and it shows the preparation of two other compounds, copper acetate and lead acetate. Each compound will be the precursor for the next step. If you are only interested in the preparation of one of these compounds, you can click on the according chapter. But before I start, a word of caution. All the shown compounds are heavy metal salts. They are toxic and harmful to the environment. The waste, solid and liquid, must be collected and brought to a facility that can dispose of the waste properly. The first step on my way to lead chloride is to make copper acetate. I started by putting some copper wire in a large beaker. Then 25% acetic acid was added. To speed up the reaction between the copper metal and the acid, 11% hydrogen peroxide was added. As you can see in this time lapse, the copper gets oxidized and forms copper acetate, which gives the solution a blue color. To speed up the reaction even more, I heated the beaker. After 2 hours, the solution turned a deep, beautiful blue. To recover the copper acetate, the solution was heated to make sure all of the copper acetate is in solution, and then it was filtered. The filtrate was boiled to remove the water and acetic acid. Here you can see the copper acetate collecting at the bottom of the beaker. At this point, the beaker was heated gently to completely remove any water and acetic acid. The product are some green bluish crystals that look very pretty. They can be used to grow astonishing crystals, but that will be a project for another video. If you are interested in crystal growing, I can highly recommend the Crystalverse website. I will put a link in the description. As you can see, we got approximately 11 grams of copper acetate monohydrate. The next step is to make some lead acetate. I started by dissolving some of the copper acetate we made earlier in distilled water until I had a saturated solution. Then some small lead pieces were prepared by cutting up lead sheet. The lead was then added to the copper acetate solution. As soon as the lead is added, a redox reaction takes place. The copper ions are getting reduced by the lead and form elemental copper. Lead ions are formed and go into solution as lead acetate. Because the copper ions are responsible for the blue color, you can observe the progression of the reaction as the blue color is fading. I proceeded to add more copper acetate and waited again until the solution was colorless. In this shot you can see the copper that has formed and collected at the bottom of the round bottom flask. The now colorless liquid was filtered to separate it from the copper and lead. So, after the filtration, we basically have a clear solution of lead acetate. A little comment from future me, because I forgot to mention it. As you can see, the liquid is a little bit cloudy. This is probably lead carbonate that formed because I let the solution stand overnight. If you want to get pure lead acetate, you have to exclude any carbon dioxide. In my case, it does not matter, because I'm going to add hydrochloric acid anyways. If you want lead acetate as your final product, you could simply remove the water and would be left with lead acetate crystals. But I don't want lead acetate, I want lead chloride. So what I'm going to do is to add some hydrochloric acid to this solution. And the hydrochloric acid will form lead chloride with the lead acetate. And the lead chloride, because of its poor solubility, will precipitate and sink to the bottom. I cooled this solution a little bit to decrease the solubility even further. You could also use sodium chloride, you don't have to use the acid. You could also use sodium bromide or sodium iodide if you want the lead bromide or lead iodide salt. All of these three are very poorly soluble, so they all work. So when we add some hydrochloric acid, we should be able to see a white precipitate forming.
This one first started, people was like, well, which one is this? Yeah. This is the hush money. Oh, okay. This isn't the election. No, this isn't the one from D.C. No, there's so many just BS lawsuits going on right now. But the one in New York right now, the hush money trial is ridiculous.
Well, you know, Brian, this is the United States of America, the great United States of America. Why does the Biden administration, the Obama administration have the right, or they have the audacity to tell people in this country how to vote, who to vote for? And when they know they can't get the cooperation of Trump supporters who are so loyal to President Trump, this is what they do. They're going after their opponent, the leader of the presidential campaign for 2024, and they're trying to destroy him, but they can't destroy him. I have seen him, okay? I have had great conversations with him. I have been in front of him. There's nobody, you cannot break him. You cannot shake his walls. You cannot get to his family. He is rock solid. He is so stellar. He is an incredible human. And I got to tell you, they're not going to break him. And you saw what he said yesterday. Send me to jail. It's an honor. Send me to jail. That's President Trump.
Website, once again?
PatriotFreedomProject.com.
There you go. If you want to help out January 6th and their legal bills, you even help them with the housing. There's bills that they can't afford. They do a lot there. And it's the only one that is really endorsed and put their stamp of approval by President Trump. So it's legit. There's some other foundations out there that don't have that distinguished. Hers does. So I appreciate you. Let's hug it out.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. And go enjoy the beautiful rally.
Yes, we will.
On the beach here. Thanks. See ya. As we are live here in New Jersey. And, you know, January 6th is one of those things that we often don't talk about too much, to be honest with you. And a lot of people, you know, we try to keep that topic on the table, but a lot of people get caught up in the economy, obviously, the open border and all of the cultural problems. But we still have major issues in terms of getting justice for these people that have been unlawfully detained and locked up in regards to January the 6th. So you walk out of here a little bit. Let me just get a quick check of the time, though, here. Check my notes here. My phone's been blowing up. All right, so let's talk about it.
Giving you an out. I am allowing you to leave right now to go and do things. You want to do things, yes? Yes? And I am giving you that opportunity because I am such a good, nurturing, self-sacrificing soul. Oh no, I'm not going to get to eat for like 20 minutes. See? That is the self.
And I approve this message because rebuilding America starts with a strong wall.
Why do I support Mike Crane for Congress?
He wants the wall built, and so do I.
He's been building homes and putting people to work for 45 years.
I trust Mike.
I trust Mike.
I trust Mike Crane to close the border,
fight the Mexican cartels,
and deport criminals.
I go to church with him. I know him.
Let's send a builder, not a politician, to Washington.
I'm Mike Crane, and I approve this message because rebuilding America starts with a strong wall.